Hey everybody, and welcome to Writing with Research with probably one of the slowest starts to the class ever considering the MLK holiday, and then of course now me being out this week. So thank you so much off the bat for being a flexible, awesome class. I know a lot of you I've probably had before, so I cannot wait to see you all again, and those of you who are newer or new to my class, I appreciate your flexibility and I cannot wait to meet you next week. We will hit the ground running with our awesome practice research paper. So I did want to come in here and kind of just go over things and post a video explaining things with my voiceover view. Um, so next week we will meet in the computer lab in the library. And Miss Rachel there in the library will do a research lesson for us. But before we get in there, I did hope to prep you guys today in class, just to help you get started on the research process. And that's the big driving force behind our practice research project, essentially so that the purpose of this project, our first project that we'll work on in class together, is to take you through the steps of the research process. So, in a low stakes way, right? We'll do it kind of together for the most part. We'll go through each step together. You'll submit the different parts of this before I really release you on your future projects that you'll do a little more independently in this class. And that's sort of how this class will run. If you notice, there's not really a lot of homework assignments. There's not a lot of discussion boards. Really, in this class, I want you to just purely focus on doing a good job on the projects that you'll have coming up. So this is our first project. It's the practice research project. And there's 6 parts to this project. The first part is research notes. You will make an annotated bibliography. You'll create an outline for a grader paper. You'll write a rough draft of that paper. You will write a perfect final draft of that paper. And then finally, you'll convert that paper, that final paper, into a multimedia presentation. And so we'll go through all of these steps together over the next couple weeks. So I am kind of bummed that I missed this first week. We were going to start on the research notes. So if you look down here, here is your prompt for this project. I tried to pick a topic for you guys. It's not super controversial, but it is interesting, and there's a lot of different directions you can take for this. I'm not going to super nitpick what you decide to focus on within the umbrella of online and virtual dating. But that is the topic for this project. So online and virtual dating, there's controversy surrounding online dating. There's innovation, there's danger, there's success rates, the convenience of it. There's a lot to explore within this topic. So this is the topic for your practice research paper. So you can focus on anything that you like. So on that note, part 1, and really we would have started this in class this week. So I hope that you guys can kind of get started on your own after you watch this video. Again, this portion of the project isn't due until next Sunday. So let's see, this Sunday is the 29th. So what would that be? February 6th, I believe. So over 2 weeks, or a little less than 2 weeks, this first portion, part 1, is due. So you've got lots of time. So I'm going to go back into Unit 1, and I've provided some sources for you. So I'm not going to open these sources, but there's 3 different sources here for you to feel free to look at ahead of time. You can start looking for your own sources, obviously, after we have our research lesson in the library next week, excuse me guys. You'll have a little bit more knowledge about how to use the library databases. But you're going to look at these sources. If you scroll all the way down here to the bottom, here are just some sample notes. And this is how I wanted to teach you guys to take notes. So as you can see, this student put their notes pretty much in MLA format. It looks a little funky because it's an HTML here in Falcon Online rather than an actual Word document. But the first thing that I always ask students to do as they're creating research notes is to create a works cited entry for that source. Bad habits are students trying to create a works cited page at the very end, right before the paper is due. And this is a big no-no in the research world. One of the first things you want to do is create that works cited, have all of that done. And that way, as you have this page here with your research notes in it from this source, it's clear that all of your notes from this source are all your notes and all the information on this page is from that source. So as you're plugging it into your actual research paper down the road, it's really clear. It's really easy to add your citations to make sure you're citing things correctly. So without going on and on, I could do a 30-minute video explaining that. That's what our class was going to be on Monday that we missed. So, but moving on, as you can see, this student is taking notes, and this is a direct quote. So they found a piece of information in that source, they've quoted it, and then they've included a parenthetical citation. So if they wanted to, when they go to write their paper, they can literally copy and paste this right into their paper, right? Because it's already got a parenthetical, it's already quoted. And then what I'll have the student do afterwards, or I'll have you guys do, is in their own words, the student contextualizes that piece of information. So if we see this is a quote or this is a piece of information from that source, they've also color coded it. The student has chosen blue for a certain reason to represent something, you know, and you can kind of decide as you move forward, but they've put their quote, the thing that's directly from the source, in a different color, and then in black, they've put their reflection on their quote, their explanation or their thoughts, right? So as you're reading research, as you're reading sources, you'll find information that you think is important. You'll write it down or you'll record it. But then a week later, when you return to that source, you're going to forget why you recorded that. So that's why every time you take a note, you record some information, I tell students, write down a little bit of your own thoughts. Why did you write this down? So you can see that that's what this student did. And you can see that, again, the student has color coded, and then after each quote that they've pulled, they've reflected a little bit. So this is essentially, and you can see here's a new source, right? They have the works cited entry, and then they have more quotes. So this is essentially the format I want you to try to practice for this practice research paper. If you want to work ahead and start doing your research, again, if you go back into the Unit 1 module, I've provided 3 sources for you. So you can go ahead and get started taking notes on those 3 sources. If you look, I have a second set of research note samples here. Okay guys, so without making this video super long, again right here at the bottom, those are some sample student sample research notes, really simple. Again, here is your practice research paper, and then again, just remember we will meet in the computer lab in the library next Monday. I will definitely be there. So there's nothing that can keep me from coming to see you guys next week. So, and also I just wanted to thank you each for your kind emails that I've been receiving. So thank you so much. And as always, if you have any questions or any issues, feel free to email me and go ahead and just start getting a head start and thinking about that practice research paper. And I will see you guys next week. Have a great day.